Can we talk about this year's postseason?
With Greg's regular season
I might need a tissue right now.
Starting with, we've got some right back here, starting with Kia NBA Most Valuable Players. We take a look at some candidates here. And, of course, LeBron James is one of the candidates. Tony Parker of the Spurs, Chris Paul of the Clippers, Kevin Durant of the Thunder, and the guy who's going to be the scoring champ this year, snapping Kevin Durant's 3-year run, Carmelo Anthony of the Knicks. Who gets your MVP award?
Carmelo's been unbelievable down the stretch, but I don't think that there's anybody that comes remotely close to having the kind of impact on the floor that LeBron James has.
So you think he wins in a landslide?
I think so this year. Listen, they've won 64 thus far. The
65.
fact that 65 now, the fact that this guy really does everything exceptionally well in the basketball field. You know, you look at how he's redefined his game. He's efficient from three, but he doesn't settle for the three. He plays below the free throw line. Defensively, he's as good a all-around defender in terms of his ability to help and guard his man as anybody we have in the league. The ability to make everyone else around him better. I just don't think that anybody else is in that category yet. There are a lot of great players, but as they say in the Hollander movie, there can be only one.
Quickly, before we move on to defense, who's number 2 in MVP? Is it Durant? Is it Melo?
That's a tough one. I tell you what, Melo made a strong push second half of the season, but I would still, the overall body of work, I think that I would go with Durant at 2, slightly over Carmelo, because Durant's been really consistent all season long. And his team, you know, they won 60 games as well. So, you know, you do have to reward success in the regular season. I would give him a slight nod. When I vote, I think I'm going to go him with 2.
Let's take a look at the candidates for Kia NBA Defensive Player of the Year. And we see Dwight Howard, 2.4 blocks. Joakim Noah, he had that 2020 game with 11 blocks, many other superb defensive games. Serge Ibaka, leading shot blocker for the second straight year. Larry Sanders was the leading shot blocker for most of the year. Serge Ibaka has gotten him over the last month. And then you have LeBron James. Who's your guy?
Again, I go with LeBron. And most of the time this award goes to guys who play on the interior. But he has, it's not just these highlights with the blocks. It's the responsibility. Remember, he now plays power forward, oftentimes center for this team in the defensive schemes, yet he still has the responsibility to guard on the perimeter. And I just think the overall impact he has on the game, for me defensively, I'm going to give him my vote. Now, a lot of deserving guys. You talked about Noah, Marc Gasol, who I know you love, Tony Allen as well. Those are 2 guys on the best defensive team statistically in the league that warrant consideration as well. But overall, I just think his season has been that brilliant. We'll look back on the season LeBron has had, and we'll marvel at it because we're still in the moment. He has had a phenomenal regular season.
You keep thinking LeBron has had his signature season, and then he tops it the next year. The guy's incredible. Now, we talk about Kia NBA Sixth Man, and we take a look at candidates for that. Of course, you will see Jamal Crawford of the Clippers, J.R. Smith of the Knicks, Kevin Martin, of course, starter most of his career, goes to OKC, replacing James Harden. He was their 6th man all year, averaged 14 per. Ray Allen, 10.9, and Jarrett Jack, just a sensational year off the bench for the Golden State Warriors. Who's your guy?
I got to go with J.R. Smith. I mean, I thought Jamal Crawford had a great first half, but overall, what J.R. does, he not only carries the responsibility at times offensively, much like Jamal Crawford does, he's arguably also their best perimeter defender at times, you know, and so he shot a great percentage. He's a facilitator. He's done a much better job second half of the season at getting into the paint and scoring. I just thought his overall impact in a year where the Knicks have dealt with tremendous injuries, he and Carmelo offensively have carried this team, but then defensively his impact as well. He's going to get my vote.
So now it's time for the most subjective and really difficult award to assess. It's the Kia NBA Most Improved Player of the Year award. And on this list of candidates, it's an unofficial list, by the way. Drew Holiday of the Sixers, Omer Asik of the Rockets, Gravis Vasquez of the Hornets, James Harden of the Rockets, and Paul George of the Pacers. 3
of those guys are all-stars. How that's really improving. But I go with James Harden. I mean, the fact that not only has he come in and had the responsibility, and that's what sometimes gets lost, when you have the responsibility to be the man and not only get the job done, he's willed this team into the postseason. He's also made Chandler Parsons and Omer Asik also 2 very improved players because of what he does. They're in the conversation as well. I think his impact with what he's been able to do this year, I put him at the head of the class.
All right, we have been talking about Damian Lillard of the Portland Trail Blazers being a front runner for Rookie
We shouldn't even put anybody else
since
up,
the
to be
first week of the season. Remember the first 3 games, I think 20-plus points, 7-plus assists. First time that was done since Oscar Robertson. So it's Lillard, Anthony Davis, Bradley Beal, and Dion Waiters. Who is your Kia NBA Rookie
Well,
of the
you
Year?
just said, listen, the irony of this is those other 3 guys have had really good rookie seasons. But this young man has had a spectacular one, and he has just been unbelievable with the responsibility he has been given. You have to tip your hat to Damian Lillard. Also, the fact that team doesn't have a lot of depth. He has been very efficient for them, given a lot of responsibility, and he answered the bell.
Set the NBA record for threes made by a rookie. What a year for Damian Lillard. Now, we're coming back with a behind-the-scenes look at officiating in the NBA. The men and women with one of the toughest jobs in sports take center stage next on Game Time.